Dave Turner. I was surprised by your explanation about suppressive, antisocial, psychotic people just pretending to be clear and OT and acting like they got gains. What about the e-meter? According to Scientology promotional material, the e-meter always tells the truth and can easily spot a lie. I quote from an official site, "It is a religious artifact used as a spiritual guide to help the pre-clear locate and confront areas of spiritual upset. It is an electronic instrument that measures mental state and change of state in individuals and assists the precision and speed of auditing. The needle reactions on the e-meter tell the auditor where the charge lies and that it should be addressed through auditing. Either people can fool the e-meter or they can't. If they can, what does this say about Dianetics and Scientology auditing?" Great question, and it's almost a gotcha. Except Hubbard figured his way around this. Now, in Scientology, there's a faith-based belief, because it's completely unwarranted by any facts or evidence, that the e-meter registers mental mass connected to incidents of pain and stress and trauma that are in your past. And that mass actually creates resistance in the body. And the electric flow that's going through the body from holding the cans of the e-meter, that there's an electric flow going. It goes through the skin. And also, it's mostly in the hands. Okay, it mostly goes in, in one and out the other sort of thing. So it's not measuring your heart rate. It's not going. The electric signal isn't pushing its way through muscle mass. It's all just at the level of the skin. Okay. Now, various things affect the skin, and I'm not going to do a whole rundown on this right now because I've got a whole video on this that's going to come, and I know I've been teasing it for way too long, but I'm just going to tell you right now that I'm not going to tell you all about this, but I'll tell you enough, which is that the resistance comes from the skin, and the Scientology idea is that this mental mass gets on your body, like literally when you're creating it or what they call mocking it up in Scientology, when you're remembering or recalling or re-stimulating these incidents, I'm always making this motion because I'm talking about this mass right here that's moving in on you. And that mass is supposed to change your body's resistance to the electric flow, and that's what causes the needle to move on the dial of the e-meter. That's the Scientology idea. That's not what's actually going on, but that's what they think is going on. And so they believe that the meter is reading at a subconscious level, that you can't affect it with your analytical thoughts. That's not true, but that's what they say. That's what they think. And so they believe very much that the e-meter is a good lie detector, that it works 100% of the time, and that there's no exceptions to it except this. L. Ron Hubbard said that the e-meter does not work on criminals. So, if you're a criminal, now because one of the ideas with the meter is that you are there and the auditor is there, behind the meter. You're both there willingly. You're both there for the same purpose. You're there for the purpose of getting a therapeutic result from the auditing. You're there to to contribute to and be active in and participate in the auditing process. So it's not okay, do the auditing to me now, show me that it works. They're not, if you come in there with that kind of attitude, they're going to show you the door, because you're going to be called a source of trouble, because you're there to make trouble. You're not there to participate and be part of the process. Criminals have things to hide. They have carried out criminal acts. They're withholding those acts. They can't let go of them. So to the degree that they are unwilling to communicate and that they're unwilling to talk about what they've done and tell you their criminal activities, to that degree, the meter is impeded because the person's not there actively participating in the auditing session. Even if the criminal is is telling himself that he's there to be part of it and he wants to be part of it, he knows that he's got stuff he can't tell and isn't telling and isn't going to, as they say in Scientology, he's not willing to be responsible for what he's done. He's a grossly irresponsible person. That's what makes him a criminal. So that irresponsibility stretches out to everything that he's ever done. And nothing's going to read on the meter. There's nothing, they're not going to get any result. Criminals are supposed to be solid, beefy, you know, like they're just like, they got all this mental mass from like, you know, billions and billions of incidents of bad things that have happened to them in the past. And they're all sitting on their head, you know, that's why another reason why they're criminals. And so, so the meter is just, you know, usually it's just kind of stuck or it doesn't move that much. You know, it's hard to read through. It's hard to get reactions and responses. This is theoretically what's supposed to happen according to Scientology materials now, okay? I'm not telling you that I've put a criminal on the e-meter and seen this. I'm telling you what L. Ron Hubbard said, okay? So, so that's why somebody could theoretically come in, somehow wiggle their way through processing, get enough reactions, or maybe even fake the reactions. You know, you can squeeze the cans and you can lift a finger on and off the cans. You can do very subtle things with the cans in a session. You could rub the can on a you know, on your shirt or on your pants or something. You can get some pretty interesting reactions on the meter. And sometimes you can move your feet. You know, you could rub your feet on the floor. I mean, there's all kinds of little things you can do that can create different reactions on the needle. And so a criminal might be so inclined to do something like that, to fake his way up the bridge. And that is what Scientologists tell themselves. Now, again, that's not what happened with me, Mike Rinder, Karen Del Carriere. You know, every ex-Scientologist you've ever seen made an honest effort to be a Scientologist and participate in what was going on. They're not all a bunch of criminals. But this is what Scientology has labeled them now because they've gone anti-Scientology. And of course they went anti-Scientology because Scientology victimized them and made it out that it was all their fault, which was not true either. So there's all kinds of, you know, nonsense that Scientology's sort of creating around this e-meter and around the whole process of moving up this bridge to total freedom. And these are just some of the complications and nonsense you can get involved in with this. So I hope that gives you a better idea of how somebody could be a criminal and still make it up to OT in Scientology's eyes. You know, it's all a farce anyway, because the whole thing's a bit of a fraud. And believe me when I tell you that e-meter has nothing to do with reading mental mass.